It's Wednesday on our live audience show. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hi, ladies.
Hi, Mariah.
Nima in the building.
Yo.
How is our baby doing, our daughter?
Exactly, my son.
How be your son?
So I want to shout out to all the husbands out there doing nursing work. Amazingly, this time I didn't believe it. My husband has been fully on ground, involved in nursing my son. So I was able to come to work on Monday, and he was in the hospital. He was there when all the magic was being done, the crying, and he put up with it, stayed with the boy, calmed him down till I got there. And every time I have to call him, come and do something. I'm wondering, he used to be the norm, but because you can. I like to rely on people that are reliable. So he says you can overdo, but
how is she doing?
Just because he's coping fine.
Who is talking about? You're talking about the baby that is in the hospital.
He's the he now. You keep saying she.
I keep thinking
he's fine.
Okay.
He's the both his.
Oh, no wonder your husband is out there. Okay, now I can make connection. Your guy Imran, eh? Imran is your guy. Imran is
make some lovely,
What is that? He's doing his work. What is that?
But just,
I beg, leave that matter.
Rob is back for him.
Yes,
we understand we are from the
you
same area.
know what I'm feeling you. We don't mind this.
Hey, Mariamo, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Okay. Thank you. I get it all the time. My husband calls me Marie sometimes. I hear Mariamo. You call me...
But Mariamo is you.
Yeah.
You don't want to answer Mariamo,
How you doing?
I don't know. I'm doing great. I want to also send a shout out to a little girl. She's a 4-year-old girl. She got burnt. So she's in the hospital. Yeah, she's in my mom's ward in the hospital, and she's really a chatty little girl. So my mom put me on the phone with her yesterday, and we talked, and I said I was going to send a shout out to her. Ruth Kenan is her name. So I'm wishing you all, all the way in Jos. So I'm wishing you all the best, and all the healing. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. How are you doing, Obayajulun?
I've been doing great. Let me not use the word amazing. They've been yabbing me. Is that the only word she knows? But I do amazing, so I can talk about it. I'm amazing.
It's such an American word, though. You know, Americans say amazing for everything. Amazing and super.
That's an American woman right there.
How are you doing?
So I'm doing great. I've spent since Sunday, I didn't leave my house after church. I've been indoors reading. I stumbled upon this book, The Heart of Souls by Gary Dukav. It was recommended by Oprah, and it's been mind-blowing for me. I'm just realizing that everything that's happening here is because we are in a school, the Earth School, so we actually do not have enemies, but we have our classmates in the school. So everything that comes your way, it's to help uplift you to the next level. So my outlook on life just changed.
All this when you just come up with all sorts of terms that just, what's that? You're in a classroom.
This has worked. Oprah has been using it
in America, not in Nigeria, please.
Come on, life is life everywhere.
Exactly. So I'm saying this is life, and then everybody has an interpretation of that life.
And this is actually working for me. I am seeing the results already.
In 2 days.
In 2 days, I'm telling you, my outlook just changed. And I will still read that book till I finish.
This is what happened when all these motivational speakers always give us all these things. Oh, they read all the books in the world, they come and tell us, and they are not practicing any of this. I'm happy that you're practicing your own.
I am practicing my own. And don't worry, you people see the results here. Don't worry. Just chill.
Just chill. We don't buy books, we used to borrow books.
Anyways, I entered the kitchen yesterday. I was at home all through yesterday.
Yeah, okay.
I cooked up a storm.
Oh my God.
When I say I felt proud, So I was not enter the kitchen. I cooked up. I was not enter the kitchen. He said, what do you even have? I said, I have this, I have that. I feel like because you're around today. I have chicken too. I have F4 here. I have a bun. I was really good.
Food.
Just for MIL to come in. Oh, baby, I find you. I'm like, no, don't push it. Don't push it, mommy. Don't push it.
It's more easier.
Finished cooking.
Yes.
Powder they have is not pounding anywhere here. I bought Echo. You eat it with the food.
Oh my God.
Because I am what? Like I have been here for 5 hours cooking. Someone's asking when you're at 99 hours.
I'm seriously trying to buy a pounder.
I'll give you one. She brought one to the house. I'll give it to you.
Come and dash me.
Now,
The Kodo.
Not Odo.
The machine. I'm an out girl. You want to give me water? What do you expect?
Water.
They used to escort me.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
I not got my the thing for me.
Ouchie, they will use it to escort you to your husband's house.
Yeah, no, the local one.
I like
We call it Odo.
No, we have the one you stand, the double-sided piece.
We just there in my house, in my kitchen, gathering dust. If you want it, please come and collect.
We have. Thank you.
Gathering dust. I have never used it.
All
right. Anyway, let's go on a break. It's Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Sorry, memory.
We'll be
right back. Right. So, politics is heated, so we're going to take the pages very gently and tread carefully. The Punch. EFCC sets up special team to grill Fayose over corruption charges. Governor slams 20 billion naira suit on anti-graft agency. Buhari meets Amosun as APC battles post-primary crisis. Herdsmen attacks don't play with people's lives, Afenifere cautions Tinubu. Picture here of workers at the National Assembly protesting non-payment of their allowances. Shell MD, 2 others jailed for disobeying court order. APC mocks Saraki over failed presidential bid. Nigeria's economy performing poorly, says IMF. Nigeria needs a president who understands economy, says Obasanjo. Scammers using Baba Salah's death to make money, says family. All right, so here...
Yeah, I have the former president Olusegun Obasanjo was at a meeting, Foursquare church meeting. There was a lecture, and he was speaking about how our country needs a president who is well-versed in the economy to be able to, that's the sort of person that we need, and anyone who can't do that would not be able to, to help our country. So he says that he got this advice from his friend Helmut Schmidt, the former vice-chancellor of Germany. So I guess it's a welcome idea.
Let me quickly tag that along his long article statement saying that, the APC are afraid of him, and that they are afraid because, he's a strong candidate, that what they need now is to be creative in job creation, because we have about 11 million unemployed youth. Okay. They should be creating jobs, 11,000 jobs per year if it's possible. So that's what they're looking at. Okay. So maybe Obasanjo and these people, there's a marriage of sorts.
Okay. He was also talking about, he mentioned that even Jesus Christ knew the economy. Who? Obasanjo, in his speech, knew the economy, and that was why he was able to, help.
Theologian, isn't
yes.
He? Yeah.
So, but the thing for me is, I think we should, it's not just about lip service. We are looking out for leaders right now that we are selecting.
Let's move on to The Nation. Buhari Atiku camps step up attacks over 2019 poll. National Assembly aides demand payment of salaries and allowances. Summit recommends commission to stop farmers and headers clashes. Ex-Airways staff to get 22.6 billion next week. Afenifere leaders visit Obasanjo over poll, and Buhari seeks approval for $2.79 billion Eurobond. Okay, so the National Assembly officers are protesting non-payment of their allowances. 2 months, so a whole 2 months.
So allowances.
I mean, I don't understand.
DT.
And the people that they brought to go and protest, they are able-bodied people. They say they are dying of hunger. And I'm wondering to myself.
And they look so well-fed.
These are, I
need someone to explain what they are owing them.
Allowances.
Since this assembly started, they've not paid them their duty to allowance. So
that's not what I read. I read it was only 2 months.
They are owing them 2 months basic salary. The normal salary. But the duty to allowances is since the 8th assembly started. So I need someone to tell me duty to allowance.
So when they go on tour based on
because these people are obviously not hungry, but they're owing them allowance. So just as they're owing ASU allowances, just as they're owing doctors allowances, just as they're owing nurses.
But
in the federal hospitals,
is that always the first thing to do, to just
protest.
Go and protest?
Is there
privilege, though? In the National Assembly chambers, you stay inside.
Yeah, so why are they
media is always in attendance.
Okay. So why don't you just have a talk, like a press conference or something? Just have a,
no. The people they work with are legislators. They don't pay them salaries. Yes. So.
But I can't remember the figures. I know the National Assembly has a large chunk of budget.
Very, very large budget.
So I'm wondering why would they be owing these people? Anyways,
owing their aides?
Good news to the airways officers, staff. They're going to be getting money paid. Our new finance minister has approved the money. 22.6 billion will be going out this week for them. So you have to come with your national ID cards.
Next Monday.
Next Monday. National ID card, your passport photographs, evidence of where they used to work there.
Next week? Because I've been getting messages. I've been seeing messages on social media how parents have, kids are saying, my parents called me to say I've been.
No, they've been doing assessments and what they call ratification verification.
Yes, and it's going to be happening in the 3 hubs: the Enugu, Kano, and Lagos.
Fantastic, well done. All right. Moving on now to Vanguard National Assembly leadership. Saraki Dogara stay as APC PDP senators opt for truce. APC primaries aspirants in last-minute rush to beat deadline. 2019, PDP zoned VP slots to Southeast, says Benobi. Why Atiku must pick vice president from Southwest, too, says a chieftain. APC attacks Saraki over performance at PDP convention. PDP dumps Tambuwal as Sokoto governor candidate. Lagos APC primaries, Obakiolu, Obanikoro's sons clinched reps tickets. Nigeria's economy doing poorly, says IMF. So I'm happy that the National Assembly have agreed to agree on some kind of truce. They have agreed that the National Assembly is not a place for war. They're not going to be fighting, be seen as constantly being in a state of unrest and all that, that they're going to agree to disagree. So they've agreed, both parties. I think the National Assembly said they'll support the presidency in whatever they need them to do. And presidency said also they're not going to try to push an impeachment right now because obviously the PDP would definitely resist it in every single way. So I like that they are having a proper conversation.
They had
which is good.
20 minutes
it's our interest
meeting.
It's not interest.
So now they'll have time to concentrate on our own interests and our politics.
Don't be too happy because there's the pending things that the president has sent to the National Assembly, part of which is the INEC, the bills have been sent. So that's what they should be working on right now. Our personal ones, I don't think this year.
That's our interest in the bills now. That's what interests us.
I hope so. Okay, what other story are we taking in Vanguard?
Lagos politics, very interesting.
Obakiolu's son.
Yes, Obakiolu's son, Obanikoro's son.
His name is Obama. Obama
Akiolu, yes.
When was he born?
He'll be representing. No, he has a Yoruba name.
Okay.
Kayode, I think. Obama Kayode Akiolu.
Maybe that's his nickname, Obama. Because when did we know Obama? It was not just a few years ago.
Exactly. When did they name him?
So he's representing Lagos in the House of Reps, himself and Obanikoro's son. And the Lagos politics, Oluremi Tinubu, what's his name?
This guy, Bayo Oshinowo, beat Ashafa.
But Oshinowo beat Ashafa. That was the interesting part.
That was the interesting part.
I don't understand
how it happened.
But the chairman of APC in Lagos has said that's the verified, original, authentic list of how the politics.
But I thought they said he was disqualified at some point. The Oshinowo guy. Anyway, let's not get into that drama.
They did post governorship.
Let's move on before you start getting calls. Moving on to Nigerian Tribune. Nigeria needs a leader who understands the economy, Mrs. Obasanjo. Facebook to work with Nigeria to curb fake news. That's from our Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed. APC to Fayose, you are not wanted. Fayose, my Ekiti person, says, APC my foot. Kilonjebe. He didn't say Kilonjebe, I added that one, I just see. Alleged corruption, court order service of processes on Ashomale and AFCC. Leadership tussle, APC PDP senators strike peace deal at closed session. Remember I mentioned yesterday that I am married to an Ekiti man. Okay. They don't quickly throw in the towel like that. If they are very stubborn. So me, I don't see Fayose going to APC. And I said it here, APC my foot. Because the APC in Ekiti, Ado Ekiti was telling him that we don't want you, we don't even think, before you start coming to APC, finish up your political, your corruption charges.
Personal opinion.
Your personal opinion.
Fayose, if he doesn't stay...
Governor Fayose, still for governor.
Okay. Governor, Your Excellency.
Yes.
Fayose, if he still want to be relevant in politics in Nigeria, you better stay on with the PDP or stay with a strong
party
opposition.
Yes.
No way.
The Minister of Information.
He himself, as a human being, is opposition enough. Doesn't need another party. So it's all right. You're going to say.
The Minister of Information.
Yes, Alhaji Lai Mohammed.
Yes. said that he actually said this when he visited Dark Communications yesterday, and he was saying that there's a collaboration about to happen between Facebook and the federal government to curb fake news. So, and you know, he knows that everything is not going to yield immediately, but the process is ongoing, and people should...
According to him, he started sometime in July, and the idea really is to help them to understand how fake news is generated and stop it from the moment it's being generated. Obviously, this is a major issue for the federal government. Hate speech, fake news, that's the most important thing, obviously, right now to that ministry.
And Facebook, too. It's very important to Facebook. Facebook have been leading this campaign about, especially as it happened in the politics in America. So, fantastic.
Okay, can we breeze through this day very quickly? Buhari ties balance of Paris Club refund to payment of salaries. Obasanjo, Nigeria needs a president who understands the economy. Oh, I was going to say something that I think APC replied, article was saying that he's leaning on his the successes of the former president Obasanjo, that he was saying that he created X amount of jobs. I think he grew the GSM from 50,000 users to 100 million users. So, yeah, those are achievements of the former administration, not your own personal achievements. But I mean, that's just what, that was the jab that APC threw at him. But they're throwing jabs at each other. Obviously, it's expected.
I mean, this
that it's too strong.
I'd expect Atiku to reply, though, on his personal achievements. And he has a lot he should talk about.
His personal achievements.
Yes, he has a lot, I know.
As a businessman.
Yes. The APC too has their own achievements, according to them.
As a political party.
According to them.
As a political party.
Let's go on a break. When we come back to commemorate today, which is World Mental Health Day, we'll have a chat with a woman we love, woman we appreciate, later on as Mrs. Modupe Ozolua. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Your View.
So today's World Mental Health Day. A lot of people in Nigeria are suffering from mental health. And many of them are depressed due to addiction of post-traumatic stress disorder, which may, on the long run, lead to suicide. It claims about 1.5 million Nigerians, according to reports. We have on the phone with us a Nigerian journalist and founder HNN Africa, Kemi Olunloye. Welcome to the show, madam.
Thanks for having me, Mariah.
Hi,
Good
Kemi.
morning, ladies.
Very good to have you on the show. So, Kemi, I know a lot of people know that you have post-traumatic stress disorder because you say it a lot on your online platform. How has that been? How did it start? How has that been? And have you gotten any support from the government to help you in that process?
Well, the government hasn't helped me.
Okay.
How did this?
I don't want to go into personal. I'm talking about government as regards the PSTs, the issue of post-traumatic stress. Do we have hospitals here in Nigeria that have been able to assist you through that process?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, very clearly.
Okay, this is what's going on. Post-traumatic stress disorder is not just something that Kemi Olunloye alone has. A whole lot of people have this thing. 1.5 million Nigerians have PTSD. I want people to go and search PTSD and see what it is. In America, it has caused people who had PTSD to actually go to workplaces, army barracks, and kill lots of people. People are seen with PTSD. They see them as people that went to war and they came back. They've always associated it with war in America. Well, in Nigeria, it's called post-traumatic stress disorder, and it has to do with a flashback of traumatic events in your life. Now, most people know I was detained in Port Harcourt prison. The experience I had in prison was what really brought me to that diagnosis, but I've had a lot of traumatic events in the past, which it now brought out. Like, for example, I had second-degree burns to my entire face in 1984. Many people don't know. I remember that experience, an accident in the chemistry lab. I had the incident on Ikorodu Road in 1978 during the Alimo school riot when our car was attacked. I was stripped naked on Ikorodu Road, and I was attacked, and people rescued me. Those kind of traumatic events, okay, now came back with this new one, the PTSD. You can't sleep. You can't eat. You're in fear. You are suicidal. When you're suicidal,
let me pause you for a second, Kemi, because yesterday, let me pause for a quick second, because yesterday we actually had a guest who's doing a lot in helping people out there, and people don't people don't understand the need to help people going through these types of disorders. So I don't want us to go too personal, but I want to know exactly how you've been able to engage the hospitals, let me not use government now, the hospitals in Nigeria to help manage that situation. That's really what I want to know.
Very, very good question. The mental health system in Nigeria is there. The mental health system in Nigeria is there. We have the money. What we want the government to do is to help people. And we want the people to get help. If you don't get help, you're not going to get better. We're finding a lot of people who have the stigma. I'm scared to go and get help. They'll think I'm crazy. They'll think I'm mad. They'll think I'm stupid. The stigma has to end. The government can put that out.
Point taken.
I just want us to be able to help Nigerians with this condition, because it takes a lot of courage for someone to come out and say, this is what I'm dealing with. So please help us understand and help the viewers understand. How did you get this diagnosis? What are the signs that your doctor saw and said you're suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder? Because a lot of Nigerians deal with these things on a daily, and they just keep moving on. Help Nigerians understand when it's a serious situation. What was the diagnosis like?
Okay, Nima, the way they saw mine was because I was angry a lot. PTSD's main symptom is fight or flight. If you don't fight somebody, you're going to flight. Flight means run away. So even in my house, when my mother says something and I'm not, happy with it, I either fight her or just leave the house. Fight or flight. I have hit people. I've slapped somebody on the street at an ATM. I've become very angry at ordinary people. I walk into the bank screaming to the top of my voice. So those are the things. But the PTSD that we want to really get into in Nigeria is the people who have suffered from the insurgency. The kind of PTSD, the people who have suffered from the insurgency, the herdsmen attacks, the houses, the people killed, they all need help. And that's where our government has to start looking at PTSD.
One more.
So I wanted to say, sorry, Miriam. There's a stigma attached to anybody mentioning mental illness. When we hear mental illness, we just refer to the person to Yaba, the person needs to go there, the person is actually mad. How do we help people deal with the stigma so that more people can come out and say, this is the problem I have, and get solutions?
Okay, this is what I want to do, and this is why I called Mariah this morning. As a public figure, I think I can get it out. In America, public figures come out. In Nigeria, nobody does such. As a public figure, an outspoken media personality, and a pharmacist, I give drugs to these people for years, and I'm suffering it too. I have anxiety. I've had depression. Okay, and I've had suicidal thoughts. Now I'm in PTSD recovery. And as a public figure, I will go out and do talks, seminars, schools, everywhere. Because people do say to me on social media, when I get really controversial on my posts, can you go and take your medicines? This woman is mad. She's crazy. Little do they know that I'm actually in that form in some areas. So I will come out, and I want more public figures to come out, not just celebrities and all that. Right. Politicians, different people.
Thank you. One more question.
One more question, Ms. Ozolua. Thank you so much, for sharing your story with us. But then we also have a group of people who, right now, are just what would I say now? They're not suffering any mental issues right now. But we've had a talk where someone has talked about protecting yourself and protecting yourself from getting to that position, to getting those issues. What are the things that we can do as people to just protect ourselves, protect our mental health? Yeah, so that you do not get to a point where you're suffering post-traumatic stress disorder. Is there anything?
Okay. Now, first of all, anyone with children, I ask them to speak to their children about sadness. If you have teenagers, they're on social media all day. If they don't get followers on social media, or somebody comments and abuses them on Facebook, they attack back. If they're sad, talk to them. Lots of young children are committing suicide because of social media. Some are even filming the suicide on social media. If you have a child that has addiction problem, tramadol, codeine, weed, talk to them. That can impair them. Prevent your children from using drugs. Educate them. If you have people in your family who have been through deaths in the family, attacks, kidnappers, all that, get them to the psychiatrist. psychotherapists and psychologists, not church deliverance, not church. Go and see a medical professional.
Right,
I am on social media. I'm a pharmacist. If you need to know about the drugs,
thank you very much, Kemi. We do appreciate you coming in this morning to tell us about this issue of post-traumatic stress disorder. A lot of people are going through it, and that's not only disorder for the issues of mental illness. Yeah. There's depression, there's anxiety, there's so many other societal thoughts and all that. So we definitely appeal to people out there, get professional help. I think that's pretty much in a nutshell what Kemi Ozolua is trying to tell us here. She's going through it. She's seeking help. You out there, pay attention, seek help also.
And this lady, Priscilla, was here last week. She's doing a talk today. And it's free. This session is free. So avail yourself of all these opportunities.
Okay, let's go on a break now. When we come back, we'll talk to one of the women doing amazing things. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So she's a philanthropist and an entrepreneur. She was the CEO of the former Body Enhancement Limited, which pioneered cosmetic surgery back in 2001. In 2003, she founded the non-profit organization called Empower 54, which offers humanitarian programs to underprivileged women and refugees. She has received so many international awards and recognitions. She was also featured actually twice for her entrepreneurial achievements as a leading African female boss, and also as one of the 50 top women changing Africa. Welcome with us, Princess Modupe Ozolua. Please give her a resounding welcome. Call us on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. We're very excited about having you because we know the kind of work you're doing out there. I mean, you've come a long way from cosmetic enhancement to charity work. Could you just tell us how you made that bridge and how you made that conversion from going into cosmetics in the first place, and then now you do a lot of charity work, especially in the Northeast?
Yes. Well, thank you for having me, first of all. Body enhancement became a household name in 2001, which meant my doors were open to every and anybody that needed cosmetic and reconstructive surgery, but they were paying clients. What happened was a man came to my office with his wife. She had burns and lacerations. And they were telling me that they had gone to so many people seeking assistance, financial assistance, to do free surgery for her. But no one was helping. And I couldn't understand that because it was obvious this lady had serious deformities. And the man looked at me and he said, "Madam, why don't you help us? When you speak, people would listen." And I swear, I just looked at him. He left my office. I picked up my phone. I called my plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills. I said, "Okay, I'm starting a non-profit. I'm going to do free surgeries for underprivileged people. That's it." He's like, "Okay." And that's how it started in 2003. Wow. And it's been 15 years now.
Beautiful.
Well done.
I met you for the very first time, not one-on-one, in 2005 when you were one of the pre-judges for Most Beautiful Girl in Nigeria, and I was one of the contestants. And then I remember that when you came, everybody was whispering, "The boobs lady, the boobs lady, the boobs lady," because you were famous at that time. Then, looking back at your life, you started working at 18 while you were in college at McDonald's. Now let me paint that picture quickly here. It's like the daughter of
Our princess.
Daughter of Ambody, the governor, working in Mr. Biggs. That was how that was.
You don't do,
at 18, hold on,
lifetime honor, no.
Nima, hold
a
on.
princess,
Okay,
a royalty,
okay.
working at McDonald's, simple.
Working at Mr. Biggs. Let's come down here.
Okay, you know, very, very small.
Compared to words. All right. So, and it was, enlightening for me seeing that you had everything. You were a princess, you had the money, but then you decided to work because you've always been independent. What can you say to the youths of today that do no longer believe in the dignity of labor?
Mm-hmm. It was a personal decision to work, even at McDonald's. When my parents sent me to school in America, I was 17. So I have been on my own literally since I was 17 years old. And the conception, my family, aunties, and everybody said, oh, you're sending Modupe. Oh, she's too happy-go-lucky. That one is just, she's not going to survive. So I was like, oh, really? Okay. So even when it got to the point that when it was time to go to school, I said, no, my parents shouldn't send me money. I was going to prove myself. And of course, I was so young. What skills did I have to go anywhere? And even because we always went on holidays abroad anyway, and I have cousins that would go on holiday to America and work at McDonald's, and I thought it was so amazing. I was like, really? Really? So of course, with no skills, no nothing,
That's the major job.
that was the first job. And just like any other youth in America or any teenager, your first job is McDonald's.
Right, of course.
And it taught me a lot. It taught me discipline, which today is applied to everything I do.
Right.
I learned the dignity that, you know what, I can work from morning till night. That's why till today, I can stand on my feet and work from 6 a.m. to 3 a.m.
Let me come to that, Modupe, because a lot of people see you and automatically they always just remember the cosmetic part. But you're doing so much work in the Northeast. I want you to talk to us a bit about that, because I know you were able to find 1,500 children. You were able to rehabilitate them. Tell us about that story. You took them from Bama to Maiduguri. Let people understand that this is not just about you as a person, it's the work you're doing. I want you to tell our viewers what you've done so far on that arm.
Well, Empower 54 has been in existence for about 15 years. Initially, it was called Beers Foundation.
Okay.
When we got involved in the IDP programs, that was in 2014, and we have done work in Adamawa, Gombe, Borno states, from rebuilding schools destroyed by Boko Haram to empowering women based on skills. Coincidentally, we accompanied the deputy governor of Borno State to Bama. At that this was a couple of years ago. Bama was not accessible at that time.
Right.
If the military didn't take you, you couldn't get there because Boko Haram still attacked the road and all of those things, and it was a very secure route. By chance, we came across children who were severely malnourished, and with going into serious planning with the state government and the military, I actually led the delegation to evacuate those malnourished children from Bama. So I led the team. Thank you. And Bama is just 2 kilometers from Sambisa Forest and all of those bits. So within a span of 2 days, we evacuated about 1,800 malnourished children and their family members. And the reason why they were malnourished, because they had just been rescued from Sambisa. So it wasn't as though they were not giving them food in the IDP camps.
So I was saying that looking at you, I mean, it's just so easy to look at you and come up with, oh, she's beautiful, you know, her skin is so, skin like butter. But then, you know, then going through your profile and reading about you and seeing what you do, it's just so, you know, surprising. Why do you care? I mean, I met you earlier this morning. I shook your hand. You have a firm handshake. You know, that's already strong. Like, for me, this is a sign of a strong person. Why do you care? You've never been, I don't think you grew up in poverty. You know, you didn't see that. You went abroad for your holidays. And then you care about kids in the Northeast. Why?
Because we're supposed to care. All of us.
As a human.
That's why we're here.
Yes. And we have different callings. You all have your callings. Your calling in life, be it through your profession as for now, because you don't know what you know, involved to tomorrow. You're educating the public and things like that. For me, when I started doing charity in 2003, I realized that my life changed. For me, my purpose is to help.
Right.
I put my money into programs. Sometimes I finance about 90% of our charity programs.
Wow.
Oh my God.
And you can't tell me to stop. I don't know how to, even if I wanted to.
I'd like to talk about your personality, because every public person in Nigeria that we thought mattered thought twice before they moved into anything close to Sambisa. I can say 1,000 kilometers close to Borno State entirely. People would think twice about it. What is it about your background that gave you that courage, that built you to that person that, you know, you could dare anything to help people, to go anywhere to help people? What was it that built you? I want to understand your background. Something must have happened, maybe your mom or the way you were raised, something must have made you that bold or courageous.
I'm glad you used the word bold, because I used to get into trouble for being too bold as a child. I've always been referred to as fearless and bold. Even if we did naughty things that would get punished, I wouldn't lie. I'd be like, yes, I did it. Because as far as I was concerned, if I had the nerve to do it, I have the nerve to fess up to it. Yeah. And my parents always encouraged me to be me. And if I do decide I'm going to embark on a project, I am going to deliver.
Yesterday, we spoke to somebody who is doing so much work. She was a guest on our show. She's doing so much work in helping to accommodate children living with cerebral palsy. And one of the highlights of the conversation yesterday was the fact that she wasn't getting a lot of help. She was just managing by herself. And I mentioned the fact that philanthropists across the world, in the West, always look for these opportunities to support people. Now, you're a Nigerian. You're one of those who are somewhat privileged and have the opportunity to do this. How do you get other people within your social circle to get involved in these kind of things? Because the people need help. That woman that was our guest yesterday, she's funding this thing by herself, the Cerebral Palsy Center. So what are you doing? Can you just enlighten us a bit on how do we have Nigerians who truly care like you do?
Yes, there are many. But many people don't know how to get engaged. And depending on the programs, it's not everyone that can go on the field. I love field work. My thing is field work.
Right.
Okay, fine, I'm dressed like this, but I'm jeans, t-shirt, baseball cap, jumping from speedboats and gunboats. That's my thing. That's my high. Not everybody can do that. It's not everyone that can see deformed children and be okay. But that is also okay that you are not okay with that. Just being at home, maybe social media, saying, look, support this organization, that is already helping. Telling your friends, okay, you know what, why don't we put some clothes together and donate? You're helping put clothes on some people. So there are many ways people can get engagement. Everybody seems to think it's always about cash. Look, we all need cash. We all have our responsibilities. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when you say donate to help one child in Borno, you're like, the people in my village, they're looking for food too. Yeah. I know how many family members are calling, you know.
Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation with our guests. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
BC had a question?
Yeah, so I saw one of the videos when you went to evacuate the children from Bama. And those kids were so frail, frail looking, like almost skeletal. And you were crying. I cried yesterday because I didn't even know the extent of, we hear these stories and we don't see. But you mentioned to the mother of one of the children that she should thank the governor that he was actually the one who made it possible for you to be there. So how were you able to get the government to collaborate? Because, we hear the government is not doing anything, government is trying to think, everybody's bickering, but you were able to get the government involved and they helped you get those children out. How did you get them, and what do you think they can do more to help people in the IDP?
Well, for one thing, malnutrition at this point is not just an IDP issue. It's a national epidemic. According to the Minister of Health, 1 in every 3 Nigerian child has malnutrition. So it's all over the country. It's not. I just came back from Edo State, and in my own state, I saw loads of malnourished children. It's all over the place. But of course, the Bama incident was very unique because they had just been rescued from Sambisa. And I was there at the invitation of the governor. And like I said, at that time, Bama was not accessible without full support and access given either by the governor or by the military. So the evacuation was done in full partnership with the governor, the state government. Some of the commissioners even accompanied us. And we used a total of 25 of those big U.S. yellow school buses to evacuate. And the governor gave us a facility to use, which was this brand new estate he had built for some doctors, and we kept the children there.
I know your charity work goes beyond Nigeria. You recently just got back from Congo. Could you tell us about that?
Yes, I returned last week from Democratic Republic of Congo. We have different programs going on there. My last trip was the distribution of albendazole and vitamin A to 620,000 children.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, that's You can see some of the pictures. Right. So.
Yes. That actually was even a dose because we have the same program going on in Nigeria right now. We just, last month, within 3 weeks, we gave out medication, the same thing, albendazole and vitamin A, which is in partnership with one of our partners, Vitamin Angels, to 15,000 women and children. Actually, we give them prenatal vitamins also for the pregnant women. So we have for Edo State 270,000 for 270,000 women and children, but within 3 weeks we give to 15,000. So that was the first phase. The second phase will be early next year. We have the same commodities for several states within Nigeria, which is all free. We give them out. For Congo, the commodities had been there for a minute, so I had to go because they have the elections coming up right now. There's a lot going on there.
Okay, so you have this, what you call ready-to-use therapeutic foods. So what is it? Did you sit down with a group of scientists to come up with, what is it and how does it help our nourished children, in these camps and all over the suffering malnutrition?
That came about after the evacuation from Bama, because we realized that we had to do more. It's not just going into volatile, dangerous places to evacuate. Yes, solutions. What are the solutions? How do we do with this? And RUTF is ready-to-use therapeutic foods. It's proven to save lives. Within weeks, the child will transform completely. It's very expensive. We don't have that kind of funding for it. So we decided to go ahead and see how we could come up with an alternative.
Okay.
Fortunately, Empower 54 is also a U.S. nonprofit, although we're registered here in Nigeria and other countries we work in. And one of the partners that we have is one of the manufacturers of RUTF that UNICEF buys from. And I by chance met the owner, and he's like, yeah, we'll help you. We'll set it up for you. It's okay.
Whoa.
I'm telling you, God knows the way he brings everything. He sure brings it on. And so we've set up a small factory here in Nigeria, so it's locally produced. And the plan is with donations, we give them out for free all across the country.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
Amazing.
We just stop clapping for you.
You're doing so much. But I met, first time I heard about you was when you did the kerosene and body reconstructive surgery for the kerosene victims in Benin at the time. I would love that such a thing doesn't just die because you've moved on from body enhancement and all that and cosmetic surgery. So do you have any future plans to continue charity work in such areas? Because, burns victims are, everywhere.
Actually that program was under the charity arm. So it wasn't body enhancement. Okay. So we still do medical missions, so that's still part of the programs we do. But we've expanded because my patron, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, said, look, we need to do more than surgeries. There are people that need help beyond surgeries. So we have the women empowerment programs, we have health programs such as medical missions, distribution of medication, things within the health space. Also educational, we give out, we build schools, give out learning materials and things like that. So we're
wow, fantastic. Unfortunately, we have to round up, but we know today's your birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday! You look all nice and dressed up beautifully. So what are you planning to do today?
I'm going back to my hotel to sleep.
No celebrations.
No celebrations?
I have, in the last 4 days, I've barely slept more than 3 hours, so I need to sleep. But again, I did have a little celebration with some friends last night, so.
Rest is a nice one.
Pre-birthday celebration.
Yes. Fantastic. Cool. So we plan every time to always celebrate women who are doing great things, and that's one of the reasons why we brought you here, because we admire what you're doing. People need to see beyond the face, beyond the physical. People need to come out, especially if you're a known face. It's important for you to do things so people recognize that things are being done. And you saw a need, you made yourself available. You're a princess, for heaven's sakes, and you've been able to do that. We applaud you. Thank you so much for repping us very well.
Fulfilling your purpose.
Fulfilling your purpose, all right? Let's give her a good round of applause. Thank you. So we have somebody in our audience, Mrs. Odufua, Remi Odufua. She brought gifts for all members of the audience. Woo! Thank you, Mrs. Odufua. She always does this. Thank you so much.